This video is to cover archetypes as an introduction to our unit over the Odyssey. Archetypes are common character types, symbols, and relationships that often appear in modern and ancient stories. Archetypes originates from the Greek word archetypos, meaning exemplary. An essential question that we'll focus on as we go through archetypes is how do archetypes remind us of the commonality of the human experience? We are going to discuss 6 types of archetypes. Remember, there are many more archetypes that exist than just these 6, but within our study of the Odyssey, these are the ones we'll focus on. The first archetype is the hero. This is a character of physical, mental, and/or moral superiority who goes on a quest in search of a goal. They have to be someone willing to sacrifice their own needs on behalf of others. A character can be inferior in some way and still be considered a hero, like Forrest Gump, who has a mental handicap. However, a hero cannot be morally inferior and remain a hero. Specifically, we're going to focus on one type of hero. These heroes are called epic heroes, and they have several traits that define them. The first is that epic heroes uphold Greek values. Honor and status are incredibly important values, and those are the 2 values that are often depicted by epic heroes. Epic heroes also have status or noble birth. That means that they're princes, lords, kings, etc. They're not commoners. Epic heroes also value pride and their reputation. That's really important to remember. The second trait of an epic hero is that they serve and sacrifice. They have the potential to do great deeds for others, and they usually do well above and beyond what the average person does. They're also mentally and physically superior. They're smart, they're clever, and they're physically strong. They're not only good in a battle, but also in wits. The fourth characteristic of an epic hero is that they travel over a vast setting. They cannot be considered an epic hero if they do not travel from place to place, or if they stay in one place their whole life. The more countries or areas they travel to, the better. Distance makes the hero's actions greater because they aren't just selfish. They are for another country or other people. Epic heroes also possess a character flaw. However incredible the epic hero seems, they do make a few mistakes on their journey, and we will see Odysseus do this as well. The 6th trait is that they face supernatural foes, and they receive supernatural help. So they either fight a superhuman enemy, or a god or goddess helps them out along the way. Besides the hero, there's also the mentor archetype. They are wise, they are loyal, and they are advisors, often personified as an old man or an old woman, like Dumbledore in Harry Potter, Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, or like Cinderella's fairy godmother. They always act as the hero's conscience, and they may have more than one mentor. The sidekick is the helper who helps the hero in seeking a guiding vision along their journey. This is the Samwise Gamgee to the Frodo Baggins, the Robin to the Batman. The Herald, also known as the messenger, has the power of destiny, and they play an integral part in the beginning of the story. They issue challenges and they announce the coming of significant change. They're often associated with the narrative hook or inciting event of the story. They're often represented by animals like serpents or dragons. Heralds and mentors can sometimes be the same character. Some examples of heralds or mentors include Hagrid, Mushu from Mulan, or the White Rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. The shadow or nemesis is the character that opposes the hero. This is your antagonist, but specifically these are the bad guys. These are the Lord Voldemorts, the Ursulas, the Wicked Witches. The fair maiden is usually the love interest of the hero, and she's usually the main woman role in the story. Yes, it's sexist, but throughout history, fair maidens have been typically women. Sirens or seductresses are characters that lure or seduce the hero or cause them to be distracted. They make the hero go off their journey or their path. Sirens or seductresses are often intelligent, and they use their beauty, their physical good looks, to manipulate others to get what they want. A great example of a siren or seductress is Hans in Frozen. There are two basic settings in archetypal settings. The first is the garden characteristic. This is usually represented with green colors, a blue sky, lots of gold, healthy landscape, and it symbolizes eternal happiness, harmony between man and nature, utopia. A good example of this is the beginning of The Lion King. They employ a garden setting. On the other hand, later in the movie, when Scar takes over the Pride Land, the setting now is amplified by the wasteland characteristics. There's a lack of water or too much water. Things become evil. There's hatred, danger, and unhappiness, and a loss of innocence. It's often symbolized by colors like gray, black, or brown. Situational archetypes. Now these are sort of plot lines that shape the stories of our epic heroes. The first example of a situational archetype is the quest. This is a story where the search for someone or something, which when found and brought back, will bring restoration to the hero's world or the hero himself. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie is a perfect example of this. SpongeBob and Patrick must find Neptune's crown and return it to Bikini Bottom to save Mr. Krabs. A second example of a situational archetype is the task. The hero must perform a superhuman deed. Hercules is one example, and so is Mulan, when she has to disguise herself as a man and fight in the war. The journey is where the hero leaves home to search out something or find some information, and encounters many struggles along the way. The journey is often confused with the quest, but it's important to note that the quest means they have to find something or someone and bring it back to a location. The journey is where they have to find out information, like Frodo has to figure out where he can destroy the ring on his journey. The fall is when characters descend from a higher state of being to a lower state of being. Usually this involves a loss of innocence and a loss of bliss. Adam and Eve are the perfect stereotypical example of the fall. Everything was great, they were in the Garden of Eden until they ate the forbidden fruit and were banished from the garden by God. Death and rebirth is the most common of all situational archetypes. It involves the cycle of life, adulthood, old age, and death. Colors are also considered archetypes because they have specific meanings. Here are a couple examples. The color black can mean darkness and evil, which are negative connotations, but black can also symbolize sophistication. White can symbolize purity and goodness, but could also symbolize bland or lacking. Red can symbolize power, anger, passion, as well as violence. Yellow can mean happy and cheerful, but also cowardly. Green means natural, peaceful, or jealous. If you've ever heard someone call someone a green-eyed monster, that means that they're jealous. Blue means calm and peaceful, or it can mean sadness and depression. Pink refers to femininity, romance, or weakness. Purple can symbolize royalty. Now, considering these different meanings of colors, take a look at this image here. Here we have one man standing here and a woman sitting here. Based on the context of this image, what do we think the two main colors represent in this image? The first color being blue, the second being red. See if you can't guess. If you guess that blue refers to sadness, that's a great answer. Notice the man's body language. He's facing away from us, and he seems to be hunched over in thought. He seems a little bit depressed, not so much peaceful. The red here is what the woman is sitting on, and she's looking over almost longingly at the man. Red can mean passion in this context. In addition to archetypes, we'll also be focusing on epithets during our reading of the Odyssey. Epithets are titles or nicknames given to characters or people. Some examples are Michael Jackson is known as the King of Pop. That's his title. Elvis Presley, the King of Rock. But what about Beyonce or Taylor Swift? Muhammad Ali? Dogs? See if you can't guess one or two. Beyonce is known as Queen Bey. Taylor Swift is called T Swift. Muhammad Ali, he's known as the greatest. And dogs are known as man's best friend. If you have questions regarding archetypes, color symbolism, or epithets, see me in class or send me an email. Thanks for watching.